The Wa Circuit Court has sentenced a former teller at the Wa branch of Stanbic Bank to 10 years imprisonment with hard labor for stealing 287,000 Ghana cedis belonging to the bank. The court, presided over by Justice Forsen Bai Japong, found Ahmed Abdul Rahman, 29, who was responsible for mobile money electronic transactions at the bank, guilty of stealing. JoyNews Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam sat through proceedings in court and now reports from Wa.
According to the prosecutor, Detective Sergeant Famous Kweku Abasa, the accused, Ahmed Abdul Rahman, from August 31 to September 2, 2016, diverted the bank's electronic cash to the tune of 287,000 Ghana cedis. Abdul Rahman then transferred the money to MTA mobile money merchant account numbers, namely 054-8715-349, 054-2058-194, and 054-9937-512. The detective sergeant noted that during the period, the accused person was audited by the bank and his staff identification came up as the one responsible for all listed transactions. A report was made to the police leading to the arrest of Abdul Rahman. In the course of investigations, 10,000 Ghana cedis was retrieved from him, but he pleaded not guilty to the charge of stealing. However, the Wa Circuit Court judge, Justice Forsen Bai Japong, in evaluating the case, found the accused guilty of stealing 287,000 Ghana cedis. Counsel for the accused, Clement Iledi, pleaded with the court to deal leniently with the accused since he's a first-time offender and a young person. Justice Ajapong subsequently sentenced the accused to 10 years imprisonment in hard labor and ordered him to refund 277,000 Ghana cedis he stole from Stanbic Bank. Also, the 10,000 Ghana cedis retrieved during the investigation was ordered to be returned to the Stanbic Bank. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam. Wa.
The Ghana Water Company has launched its electronic billing system, which will make it possible for customers to pay their water bills via mobile money and other electronic means without necessarily having to show up at a pay point. Well, the system, which has been piloted for some time now, has seen customers receive their bills on their mobile phones. Officials explained the initiative will, among others, cut operational costs and make it more convenient for customers to pay their bills. Customers, until the paper bills are phased out by January 2018, will continue to see agents of the Ghana Water Company drop off bills in their homes or offices. Matilda Pomaga has more.
The electronic billing and payment system is to enable customers receive and pay bills via emails and text messages on their mobile phones. Through the new system, customers can as well send their complaints via text messages. The Ghana Water Company Limited says the transition from paper to electronic billing, which started some months ago, was piloted in 5 regions already. Managing Director of the GWCL, Engineer Clifford Brymer, says the GWCL, by the end of this year, deployed 40,000 smart meters nationwide.
And now that we have the mobile phones, it means that you can pay from anywhere. So that's one elimination of the stumbling blocks in getting our revenue. Used to prepare the bills has also drastically reduced. And when we deploy all the smart meters, we read your meter today, you get your bill today. Because that's the system that we want to operate. The first 40,000, we just want to deploy them at the gated communities, because that's where sometimes it's difficult to go because they lock their gates, so that we pick the readings without necessarily entering the premise. The second 40,000 has been ordered, and all this we are paying for our cash.
How much is this coming to us?
I think 1 meter is about 121 euros. 121 euros, you can imagine.
Customers owe the Ghana Water Company up to the tune of 846 million cedis, 42% of which are domestic customers and 58% by MMDAs. The managing director of the Ghana Water Company has been explaining how the new system will cut down losses and weed out corruption in the operations.
So those days will give you 2 months So we'll set the system. If it's a smart meter, we can even disconnect you from remotely. We can just disconnect you. When you owe a number of this, we can just sit in the office here and get you disconnected.
So how long will it take with this new system you are rolling out?
We will have to reduce it to 1 month. If you keep my money for 1 month, that's not bad. So that's 30 days. Yes, when the system is rolled out, we can only allow you to keep our money for 1 month. And if you want to eliminate corruption in the system, then you also, as much as possible, reduce discretion. That is reducing the human factor. And all we are doing is to eliminate the human element in our operations. We just have to reduce it to minimum.
The Minister for Water Resources, Joseph Kofi Adda, urged the company to capitalize on the new system to ensure effective revenue generation and mobilization.
With this innovation, to commend the company for introducing the smart meters concept and to direct further that the smart meters deployment should be done nationwide to further enhance efficiency and productivity. I especially draw your attention to the new water project in Wa, which was commissioned by the President, and to suggest strongly that you consider extending pipelines to the Wa municipality and introduce the smart meters there promptly to ensure the 20,000 plus customer base that we have in Wa comply and they become a pilot example to all Ghanaians on how we can.
The Ghana Water Company is partnering the various telecommunication companies and other financial institutions to carry out a successful implementation of the e-billing system.
The 2017 State of the World's Population Report has revealed that failure to give the world's poorest women control over sex and childbirth could widen inequality in developing countries. The report says universal access to reproductive health services would lead to economic benefits of about up to $430 billion a year worldwide. However, the launch of the report in Ghana, experts concluded that educating women will go a long way in bridging the inequality gap.
According to the UNFPA report, only half of the world's women hold paid jobs, and this is because most women do not have control over their fertility. The report says many women are having unintended pregnancies, which take a massive toll on their health and futures, not only increasing their risk to maternal injury or death, but also restricting their ability to join or stay in school and the workforce. The UNFPA therefore advises government to improve accessibility and quality of education and health services, particularly for marginalized girls and young women. At the launch of the 2017 State of the World's Population Report, senior lecturer at the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, ISE, Dr. Fred Janku, tasked government to invest more in skills training.
As you increase a girl's likelihood of staying in school, of course, it reduces the probability of an early marriage. It also reduces the number of, on average, the number of births per woman. But it's not just any type of education. As we have seen, it's not just, yes, letting them go to school is very important. That's a starting point. But beyond that, the kind of education that will make them contribute to the labor force is what we are talking about. Skill acquisition, okay? We've seen recently where I said that most Ghanaian children go through the school system without acquiring adequate skills for the job market. That is worrying.
Deputy Minister of Local Government, Obi Amwa, says the UNFPA's report will help government in prioritizing and touts government's free SHS policy as a step towards getting more girls enrolled.
The critical thing is that the female or the girl child should stay in school for a longer time, and even we should also focus on letting them also go into the sciences, engineering, technology, maths. This is something that we are doing that we should also keep on prioritizing. What we need is to provide the resources and the infrastructure for people to have education that will benefit the whole nation. And as you heard, I said that it's not just free education for its sake, but if you're making this investment, we know the benefits of such investments, and we have demonstrated some of it. That is what we should look at. We should not just say that, no, free education has come, and maybe take the credit or just do politics out of it. We should be able to tell the whole world that these are the benefits of free education.
The report presents 10 actions for a more equal world.
The minority spokesperson on mines and energy, Adam Mutawakilu, says his colleagues who are in the NDC minority will not participate in the committee's consideration of a motion for a rescission of the $510 million AmeriPower deal slated for today. The MP for Adansi Asokwa, Katie Hammond, who was the ranking member on the Energy Committee of Parliament in the 2015 period when the deal was approved, filed an urgent motion seeking the reversal of the decision in July this year. The Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Quay, who referred the matter to the committee before the House went on recess. And Mr. Mutawakilu explains that the minority is staying away because the matter has not been appropriately brought before the committee.
It's very clear that that day we made it clear. Procedurally, we don't think that Parliament can refer a motion when it has not been debated on. And we don't want to set any bad precedents. The second one is that we don't want government to use Parliament as a backdoor to rescind decision that is effectively between the government and the company involved. Once government approves an agreement without indicating in the approval that they still have a say in respect to rescission, Parliament cannot come later to rescind it. So we believe that Parliament has no hands, and Mr. Honorable Katie Hammond cannot use Parliament to rescind a decision that has been approved, and based on that, we will not take part. So tomorrow's meeting, definitely minority will not be there. If it borders on the country conference, they are in two ways. The law must operate. You don't border because it borders on the country conference, the law must be put aside. Two, borders on the country conference can be two ways. One, it could review, but you must use the legal means. If you use the wrong means, it could result to judgment debt. Because, in my view, effectively, Ameri has an agreement with government of Ghana. Ameri didn't bring the document, the agreement to Parliament for approval. That is what we must know. No, it was government of Ghana which brought it to Parliament to approve because it was a condition precedent. And that is why Ameri did not appear before the committee. But the Minister of Energy and his agencies appeared. So you cannot misbehave with your side, and now an effective agreement has been agreed, then transaction has started, they've not breached the terms and conditions of the agreement, and all of a sudden somebody wakes up and feels that, okay, let me go and rescind the decision. What do you think it is? So I can foresee that if we go ahead as Parliament to rescind this decision, we should be ready for judgment debt, huge judgment debt.
Members of the opposition National Democratic Congress will, from November this year, be required to register in order to keep their membership intact following the party's decision to scrap its existing internal biometric voters register. The decision is one of the recommendations of the Professor Kwesi Botwe Committee set up to investigate why the party lost the 2016 general elections. At the news conference to announce the decision, National Chairman Kofi Porter said re-registration of members would begin in a month's time. There's more in this report by Joseph Akable.
The credibility of the NDC voters register has been of concern to leading members of the party, including founder Jerry John Rawlings. The suggestion has been that the party register was infiltrated by non-members who participated in the election of party leaders at all levels. Addressing the media, Chairman Kofi Porter highlighted the challenges with the current register.
For the avoidance of doubt, the register was meant to be a biometric one, did not meet the standards required to make it qualified to be a biometric register. NEC has therefore decided that we should adopt a manual process of capturing the names of members at all branches nationwide.
The defeat of the NDC at the 2016 poll saw more than 25 seats in parliament held by the party swing to the NPP. Deputy Minority Leader James Klucha-Veji, who has in the past lamented on loss of key seats, the party believes a new register is key in the reorganization bid.
NEC is a second higher decision-making body. The NEC has taken a decision that we will scrap the first register, and I'm okay with that. We'll take our time and do another register, which we think that the challenges that the previous one had will not be repeated in the new registration. So I'm okay with the decision of NEC.
The registration exercise, which commenced in November, will in the interim end in December 2017.
Meanwhile, a former trade minister and leading member of the NDC, Dr. Spio Garbrah, has started his credentials as a key contender for the party's flag-bearership race. A host of party bigwigs, including former President John Dramani Mahama, Sylvester Mensah, Nadoli Kalio MP Alban Gbagbin, and Professor Joshua Alabi, have all been tipped as possible contenders. Despite admitting he's still carrying out consultations with party members, Mr. Garbrah is confident he will be up for the challenge once he decides to join the race.
The party is nationally based, and so we ourselves as a party have no problem wherever our leaders come from. But there are some parties who have declared that in their opinion, their leaders and Ghana's own leadership should not come outside of some 5 Akan-speaking regions. And I'm saying that is a problem. There's a very high level of comfort, not just comfort, but desire and encouragement coming from a wide range of angles, both within the party, among hardcore party members, and also from people who are not declared in favor of one thing or the other. I can even take you to NPP people who will tell you that if I were to become a candidate, they will vote for me. They may not necessarily quit their party, but they'll vote for me. I can organize a meeting if you're that interested, and you see them by their faces, and they'll show you their membership cards.
So have you decided you'll be contesting?
Consultations are ongoing. Sometimes when you go to a doctor, you want to be cured immediately, isn't it? But the doctor says you are here for consultations.
But Doc, the race will be a tough one. Are you up for the challenge?
Of course. But I've been in tougher races. You think competing against Mr. Dianan, Alhaji Yusuf Muhammad, and Professor Mills was a small race? I was even a younger person with less experience. I was not even living in Ghana at the time. I was living in the United Kingdom, and I had to leave my job, which was an international organization where I was not even supposed to do partisan politics, and come in with 2 months into an election, declare my candidacy on September 21st, 2006, go into an election in 2 months and become second in a run-up. So I have an idea of what it takes to...
You can beat any candidate who runs against you.
I won't make that kind of statement. I respect all...
Confident of victory if you contest?
Choose to contest anything. But I think those who look at my track record can determine whether I'm a good competitor or not. If you apply to the Commonwealth Telecom Organization and 100 people apply for the same job from over 25 countries, and you happen to be shortlisted, you happen to go to an interview, and they decide after the interview that you are the best man for the job, I think that tells you a little bit about competitive politics. But I respect everybody who has either declared or will declare in due course, and God will be there to be the judge of us all.
And Dr. Spio Garbrah there, one-time communication, but also, more importantly, a former trade minister. He has a lot of belief. And talking about belief, that's where we end our news.